podcast. I'm glad you're here. My name is Mashav, and I'll be your host in this new podcast about starting over and designing your next chapter after a major life change like divorce, separation, or a shift in career. You might be listening because life didn't unfold quite the way you planned. Maybe you're newly separated or years past the papers, but still trying to piece yourself together. Or maybe you're trying to juggle solo parenting, building a new career, or just not happy with your current life as it is, barely recognizing yourself. If you are here, you're probably smart and capable, resilient woman, but tired of holding everything alone, tired of people saying it will all work out, tired of pretending you're fine. Maybe you're looking for a moment to breathe or someone who understands how this messy middle of building a new chapter can feel very overwhelming sometimes. If this sounds like you, you're in the right place. My story of rebuilding my life is going back many years ago, and I had to start over multiple times the last decade or so, moving to California with my spouse after a job, had to start over and build my own business in a new community that I had no ties to. Then I had gotten pregnant, and when I had my child, I pretty much had to start over again because my priorities shifted. So I pivoted my business. I went to a business planning course and came up with a business plan. And then just just when the business started catching up and gaining momentum, it was 2020 and COVID happened. My business was all about social gatherings and culinary experiences in the city. So it was pretty much doomed. I had to close my business, and we decided to do a move from California to the East Coast to New York, and I had to start all over again there. In New York, I was trying to start a new kind of business, an online culinary business. And it was a really rough start since there was still COVID. Moving to the East Coast was far harder than I anticipated. And I was suffering from a lot of health issues back then. All of this together, and my marriage started to crumble at the same time. Less than a year after moving, we decided to separate, and I no longer was interested to continue with the culinary online business that I worked on for the past couple years because it was a project with my ex, and I had to start all over again after separation, painful separation, and a lot of anxiety around that and uncertainty about what's going to happen. And I had no financial security as well, having no job, no friends, no family, and being pretty much new to New York, taking care of my then 5-year-old almost by myself. So I started again, and I pivoted to a whole different type of business, still in the online sphere. And then I decided to move back closer to my parents, to my hometown. And it took me a couple years until I finalized my divorce and could go back with the ex's permission, take our daughter with me. And then I had to start all over again in a new country, a new old country. And trying to figure out what to do next, career wise, social wise, moving, finding an apartment, and all the logistics of that. And now that I'm about a year and a half into that process, I'm still rebuilding my life piece by piece. I'm figuring out my identity, my parenting, my routine, my healing, my money stuff, finding joy. And I've learned that starting over is not a straight line. It's really messy. It's a combination of grief, survival, finding an agency in your own life, putting intentions, finding your values, and sometimes just a lot of random magical events that's happening. So I've built Hello New Me from this process, not because my life is perfect right now, but because I understand how complicated it is as women rebuilding after a major life shift, finding a structure, finding your self trust again, and finding your way step by step to that next chapter that you're craving for. And I want to help others going through this journey and support that journey because I found out that it feels lonely out there when you're doing that. It's very isolating for many reasons. So I'm building this community so that we can feel less alone and more supported and find easier ways and tools to rebuild a life that's value driven with intention and confidence. And this space is a place that I'm going to be talking about what rebuilding actually looks like. Some of the topics that I want to explore are how to make decisions again when there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm going to talk about identity shifts and how your new identity forms little by little. I'm going to talk about some parenting through change and some financial and money, getting to that stability so that you can make the best out of your skills and your passions. And I'm going to talk about community, finding community and social connections, about the loneliness and dating, post separation and divorce, and how that looks like in our world as it is. And I'm going to talk about all these small moments of new beginning, how to move forward, how to trust your own instincts, your feelings, and a lot more subjects. I think that it's a very complicated and variety of topics that are related to starting over and building your new chapter. This is going to be a place that is sometimes more practical with tools that help you make decisions or follow through on your plans, etc. And sometimes it's going to be more personal with stories, conversations, and real honest experiences that make up the part of the journey. What else you can find if you want more support? I have a weekly newsletter on Substack that I'm going to link to in the show notes. I have some free tools for anyone who's starting over that you can download in the link that I'm going to put in the show notes. I'm also open for suggestions on topics that are essential for this stage of life. And you can also find all of my offerings on my link page that I'm going to add here. If you are longing for that fresh start, right now I offer a 15 days self-guided journey so that you can start over in just 5 minutes a day. And you can find the link for that as well in the show notes if you want to reclaim your future and figure out who you are right now, what you want, and what are your next steps to getting there. This is the tool that gonna get that clarity and confidence the fastest. And I want to close with saying that starting over is one of the hardest challenges, and you might not have chosen the timing or the context, but it can lead you somewhere amazing and sacred. And the process itself is a big part of the result. Just walking that path is creating the person that you're going to be. So I'm really glad you're here, and let's begin. Hope you tune up and join me on this journey